Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Myers, and today I want to talk about insights into Islam. It's a book that I've written along with my son, Joshua Myers, and I want to cover today about the scientific errors that are in the Quran. Now, the Quran is said to be inspired without error, revelation from God. And we want to look and see if that's true or not. There are many scientific errors, and we want to look at a few of them. I want to look at Quran 53, or it'd be surah 53. We say chapters, but they would say surah 53, the star. That's the name of it. Before I go into that, I want to look at different translations that can be very helpful. When I first read the Quran, it was like a big mystery. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I didn't know what Isa meant, which was, I think, for Jesus. And main thing I remember is it talks about if you follow Allah, you can go to heaven and paradise. If you don't, you end up in hell and burn forever, which seems to be a big emphasis through it. But there was some helpful translations I want to let you know about. And here's the first one, the Quran by A.J. Droge. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's D-R-O-G-E. And here it is. Here it has a lot of notes to explain things for you, which is very helpful. There's another one by Gabriel Reynolds. It's a nice big thick one here, and it also has notes and explanations in it that are good, and I use both of those. Now, the Surah 53, it says, by the shining star when it came down, your master, this would be referring to the Prophet Muhammad, is neither misguided or deluded. He doesn't speak for his desire. This is a revelation. It's talking about the Quran being a revelation sent down and taught to him by the most powerful, the most wise. So that's referring to Allah, God. And then it goes and says, when he appeared to him, he was on the uppermost horizon. Now, there are two times when Muhammad is said to, the Lord appears to him, or most from Islam would say Gabriel, the angel Gabriel appeared to him. And this first time it says he was in the uppermost heaven, which be the seventh heaven. There's 7 heavens and 7 earths in the Bible, according to Surah 65:12. So the Quran is said to come direct revelation from Allah through Gabriel, according to some, complete without error and perfectly preserved. And we want to look at that to see, is that true or not? Now, the first, by the shining star, this is like a oath to swear. Like you say, if you wish upon a star, or I swear on my mother's grave or something, at the beginning here, when a shining star came down, you, the Prophet Muhammad, he's not misguided or deluded. Of course, that's some people, that's what they thought he was. Then go on to verse 8. Then they drew near, very near, the distance between 2 bows held together. Now, some think the 2 bows were put together to make a round circle. Others say it's how far you shot it. So he revealed to his servant what he revealed. So here's the revelation. His heart didn't deny what he saw. Now, the heart back there would be what we would call the mind or the brain today. So they thought back then the pumping, beating heart was where thoughts came from. As a man thinketh in his heart. So back then they didn't have modern medicine. They thought it was the heart that was the mind. And so why are you disputing what he saw? So a number of people were disputing this. And on another occasion, there's another heavenly vision. And he saw him coming down near the far side of the lotus tree. Nearby was paradise of Mawa. Now, the lotus tree is the utmost boundary in the seventh heaven, beyond which neither angels or humans can go. So here's his other heavenly vision where he's, and some think this is when he was taken up to heaven on the night journey up to heaven. And his eyes didn't wander nor turn to the side as he witnessed the great signs of his Lord. And this is taken from an online, the Majestic Qur'an. So we have two appearances, and some compare this to Moses, where he receives the law, where he goes up into the mountain and receives the revelation from God and sees God. But a lot of the scholars there of Islam say, no, he was seeing Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, giving the message from the Lord, or Allah. So we can see here a number of things. There's 7 heavens that we'll want to look at more, and see what that's about. First, I want to continue in Surah 53, and we come to what's called the Satanic verses. And verse 19 says, disbelievers, have you thought about Alat, Aluzza, and El-Manat, the third of them? You chose sons for yourselves and daughters for Allah. Why? How unfair is this division? These are merely names you and your forefathers gave them. Allah hasn't given them any authority. They are following suspicions and their whims. The Lord's guidance has come to them. Does a person always get his wish? Both the hereafter and this world belong to Allah. Now, Alat, Aluzza, and Manat were 3 primary pre-Islamic Arabian goddesses, often thought to be the daughters of Allah. Alat means mother, and some think the mother of Allah, and were worshipped as a triad in Mecca. And wondering, why does it mention these 3 goddesses? And this is called the Satanic verses. And you look at Surah 22, 52, 53. It talks about Satan coming and whispering in Muhammad's ear. And Muhammad didn't realize that. And so it got put in the Quran, but then it was discovered and the correction was made. So these couple verses here are called the Satanic verses. Since the Quran is a revelation from Allah, there are no scientific errors in there. It's supposed to be perfect and perfectly preserved. But if we look closely, we find a number of errors. We're going to look at some of these. I already mentioned there are 7 heavens and 7 earths. And this goes back to the rabbis who thought that because there were 7 different words for heaven, so there must be 7 different heavens. But there are not 7 different heavens. Some thought there was 10 different heavens. So there's a number of different the numbers increase. But that's in surah 65:12. There's 7 heavens. And then the sun and stars are in the lowest heavens in surah 37:6. And the stars being so low and the sun, it would definitely burn things up. Then number 3, the sun moves across the sky and sets in a muddy stream. And that's in surah 18:86, and also in Droge, volume 3. In ancient times, they believed that the sun would set, that there would be a gate that they would go down in, and underneath the earth, through the caverns underneath the earth, and come up for sunrise in the east. But here it says it sets in a muddy stream. Number 4, the earth is spread out flat like a carpet in surah 88, verse 20. And then number 5, the mountains are pegs to hold the flat earth in place. Surah 78, 6 through 7. And you can look these up for yourself. The sky will fall if Allah doesn't hold it up. And they thought the sky was solid. All these 7 heavens are solid, and we'll see exactly what they're made out of shortly. And then the falling stars, meteorites, are piercing flames thrown at demons trying to listen in on the heavenly council. So the demons try to fly up to heaven, and if they get too close, piercing flames are thrown at these demons, which we call meteorites, or they call them falling stars. But we call them meteorites today, that they're being thrown at demons so they don't get too close to heaven. Then we have creation in 8 days in Surah 41, but only 6 days in Surah 25. So you have this contradiction here. Was it 8 days creation, or was it 6 days? And then in Surah 2, the earth was created first. But in Quran, Surah 79, the heavens are created first. So we have another contradiction here. Was it the earth or heaven created first? And then it tells us that Muhammad splits the moon in 2 and then puts it back together again in Surah 54. But there's no scientific evidence. Just recently, Artemis 2 went around the moon there and saw the dark side, but no evidence that it was split in 2. And here you can see an ancient drawing here. And it looks like a man on the moon where Muhammad splits it in 2. And notice his face is covered, but you're not supposed to show Muhammad's face or Allah. Now I mentioned there were 7 heavens and 7 earths, and Isra and the Miraj are 2 parts of a night journey that the Prophet Muhammad took during a single night. That's in Surah 17. Isra is his journey from Mecca on the back of the Buraq, a white animal larger than a donkey but smaller than a mule, and it's flying to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, called the furthest mosque, and that's what they thought it was in Jerusalem. And down on the right you can see the mosque there today in Jerusalem. And then if you look further, you will see the Dome of the Rock. And the Midrash journey was up through the 7 heavens and finally meets the prophets and finally Allah. Now, supposedly, if you go into the Dome of the Rock, believe it or not, I was in 1977, journeyed there, and you were allowed to go in, and this big, huge rock there in the dome, and supposedly there's a footprint, some say a footprint of Muhammad, others say no, there's a horse hoof print of the animal that took Muhammad up to heaven and back down. And on that rock there's another place, it looks like a rectangle, and some think that's where the Ark of the Covenant was set, and that was in the Holy of Holies, but we don't know for sure about that either. So that dome is protecting the rock where Muhammad took his night journey into the 7 heavens. And then on the upper left hand you can see an ancient drawing of this. The best account of Muhammad's journey through the 7 heavens is found in Abu Hassan Barkari's Total and Complete Ascension Narrative. The earliest datable manuscript is around 1280 AD, and it's held in Istanbul's Soleimani, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, collection. And Colby has a great chart showing the different manuscripts and the descriptions of the 7 heavens. I'll try to leave a note on that at the bottom. The first heaven is made of smoke, where the angel of death and guardian of hellfire and Noah live. The second heaven is made of iron, where John and Jesus live. The third heaven is made of copper, where David and Solomon live. The fourth heaven is made of white silver, where Moses lives. The fifth heaven is made of red gold, where Enoch and Abraham live. The red gold is a mixture of gold and copper. The sixth heaven is made of gemstones, where the prophet Hud lives. The seventh heaven is made of white pearl, where Adam lives. The Loti tree marks the boundary of created beings beyond which the throne of Allah resides. And we saw that earlier. And here's the drawing right above me of the 7 heavens and the different materials that were made out of the heaven. Notice it was all firm, solid metals here, except you have the first one being of smoke. We want to look at some biological errors. According to the Quran, Adam was created 60 cubits tall. That's about 90 feet. This ChatGPT generated is a little bit off here, but 90 feet is huge. That would be as tall as the Statue of Liberty there, from the feet to the head. And that's a little bit more exaggerated, but it's a huge size, and that's what they thought Adam was 90 feet tall. And this could be a result because they saw large fossil bones, mammoth bones. And the rabbis also thought Adam was huge. And you have in Genesis 6, giants. A child is a boy or girl depending on who climaxes first, according to Sadi Bukhari. Semen is formed between the backbone and the rib. We know that isn't true. A blood clot is not an accurate stage of embryonic development in Surah 96. In human development, muscle and bones form simultaneously, not sequentially, as in Surah 23, it's the bones and then the muscles. And then we have in Quran, Surah 27, talking ants. So there's a number of different things there. We also have historical errors. According to the Quran, Alexander the Great was a righteous Muslim, but he was called unrighteous pagan. He is called Quran Two-Horn, who builds an iron wall between two mountains, according to Surah 18, which is based on a Syriac legend in the Alexander romance. Then, according to Surah 20, the Samadi, or the Samaritans, lived at the time of Moses. But the Samaritans didn't exist until after 722 BC, when Israel, the northern tribes, were taken into captivity. Then in Quran, Surah 17, verse 1, it says that there is a mosque in Jerusalem at the time of Muhammad. There was no mosque. The Masjid al-Aqsa was not built until 710 AD. Then we have Surah 12, verse 20, has coins at the time of Joseph. Yet coins weren't invented until about 600 BC by the Lydians. Then there's also biblical errors. The Pharaoh and Haman are placed at the Tower of Babel, or Babel, in Surah 28. Then we have the Pharaoh crucifies the baker in Surah 12, which crucifixion was not invented until around 500 BC. And then we have Mary and Miriam, Moses' sister, being confused in Surah 19, verse 28. Then we have a picture here of Abraham. In the Bible, we have Isaac is being offered up, but in the Quran, it's Ishmael. And Ishmael is the chosen one of God. And then down below we have Abraham in a fiery furnace. I think it was by Nimrod, put in there by Nimrod. And that's another rabbinic story that you get. That it comes into the Quran as gospel truth. We want to look at prophecy, and we have the sign of a prophet. The proof that Muhammad was a prophet was that he had moles on the left side of his shoulder, according to Sadi Muslim. Then there's the seal of the prophet. Muhammad was the seal or final prophet to come, according to Surah 33:40. Now, he is said to be the comforter that's promised in John chapter 14. If I remember correctly, the Greek word sounds something like Muhammad. And so they see that the comforter is not the Holy Spirit, but it was Muhammad, according to Islam. Then we have prophetic errors. Surah 3, 150 verse and verse 1 says that Allah will protect Muslims, yet they lost the battle of Uhud. And there on the right you can see an old drawing of that battle. And in Surah 30, the Byzantines would be destroyed, but it didn't happen until 13 years later. So we have a number of prophetic errors. And then the end of the world was supposed to come very soon. Muhammad said that the young boy will not grow old before he sees the end of the world. And that's Saudi, a Muslim, 7051, volume 4. And then Anas reported Muhammad saying, "I and the last hour have been sent like this." And while he was doing it, he was joining two forefingers together. So they thought that the end of the world was coming very, very soon. We also now want to look at the archaeological evidence. No Mecca. According to Patricia Cohn's research, contemporary records show that there was no mention of Mecca as a trade center at the time of Muhammad. She thinks that it was read back into the religious literature at a later time for political reasons. No Muhammad. The earliest coins that mention Muhammad is not until 685. No mention of Muhammad in Arabic structures until 691, the Dome of the Rock. The early protocols show no evidence of Islam or Muhammad. The name Muhammad means blessed one, which was used by Christians for Jesus. So Jesus was called Muhammad, the Blessed One. And that title seems to be switched and put on Muhammad, made into a person. The only real evidence we have is an outside source saying this prophet comes with a sword and he claims to have the keys of paradise. And then mainly they may have transferred Muhammad to him as the Blessed One from Jesus. It's not until 765 that Ibn Ishaq writes the first biography of Muhammad, which in 833 Ibn Ishaq edits. So this is about 200 years after the death of Muhammad that you have any writings about him, about who he was and what he did. No Muslims. There is no mention of Muslims in early protocols or coins. These Arabs were called Hagarians or Ishmaelites or Saracens, not Muslims. No mosque. Dan Gibson has shown that the earliest mosques don't point to Mecca, but to Petra. There is one, it could be in Bukhari, that says that it pointed to Jerusalem. But if you look at the, Dan Gibson's looks at the oldest mosques, and it shows that they're pointing to Petra. And he has a great video out on YouTube, The Sacred City. And he goes into depth about this. It's an amazing video, a movie he made. And I suggest I'll put a link to it down below so you can see that. And I wanted to see for myself. What about do the earliest mosques, do the Qiblas, it's supposed to point to the direction of Mecca. And so I did. I went to Jordan and other places around the world to see if that was true or not. And I'll be doing another video on that. So we come to the end here. In summary, most of that information I just showed you is in my book. It's a real thin book and easy to read, and sort of condenses everything so you can look up the scientific errors and other things in there, the Qibla, what direction it's pointing. And so you can get this book on Etsy, on ancient replicas. I make ancient replicas. And if you want it for free, you can go to see my writings on academia.edu. And you can look it up, type it in, and you can come up with Insights to Islam, which you can download for free. And I have my other books and other things there that you can get for as well and download. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, because more videos are on the way, and that'll be which Quran is correct. There, if you look back and see some of these, there's a lot of different readings of the Quran. Want to take a look at that and see which one is the correct one. Then I want to look at another video I'm going to do on what direction did the original Qibla point to. And I sort of gave it away that it's Mecca. And then my last video here I'm going to do on my experiences with Sharia law. I've been to a number of countries, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, and other places, Turkey, and my experiences, and especially in the U.S., experiences with Sharia law and the people that I've come in contact with. So I'll be making those shortly. And my website, BibleandScience.com. And thank you very much for watching.